We'll be joined by Congress leader and former Minister for External Affairs, Salman Khurshid. Mr. Khurshid, thank you so much for your time and for speaking to us on NDTV. My question to you, sir, how do you look at India finally sending out that condolence message on the killing of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and the fact that the opposition has raised several questions on India's foreign policy with regard to what's happening in West Asia?
Well, sadly, it is too little, too late, isn't it? What is it that we achieve now by signing the condolence book when we've seen for several weeks, if not months, we've seen India's foreign policy come apart completely, where our voice has disappeared from important fora in the world, and even in our neighborhood, we are not being taken seriously because if we really believe we have a place under the sun in the world, we would be central to people's decision making in the neighborhood. But that's not happening. And I think we are just being taken entirely for granted. Now, what explanation is there for this? Of course, is a matter of speculation. A lot of speculation has taken place already, and I'm sure more will take place in times to come. But the outcomes that we see around us in West Asia and now closer home are very, very distressing, are very, very deplorable, the outcomes that we are seeing. And I wish that India had the courage to stand up to say, this all must come to an end. It is not about friends and foes alone. It is about humanity. And I think humanity is being crushed mercilessly again and again in the entire episodes.
As you make that point, sir, two questions I have for you. One, would you see the meeting from the Foreign Secretary as perhaps in diplomacy a reaction to what's happened at the Indian Ocean, A, in terms of sinking of the Iranian vessel? B, do you see India reassessing its stand and perhaps changing? Because some would say that it was a circumspect decision to watch how this is playing out in the Indian national interest. That's the argument that's been put forward by the government.
Well, see, you can't hide everything behind national interest. We all believe in national interest, and we all support national interest. But the interpretation to national interest is something that we need to be more transparent about. Now, there's nothing that's happened in the last few months that can remotely suggest that our interest has been addressed. Whenever we've dealt with something, where has our interest been addressed, etc. But if you're not honest enough and you remain in denial, obviously we'll get nowhere. The important thing is that we are not asking the government to choose between one friend and another. What we are saying is you must have the courage to speak up to your friends, speak up for truth, and speak up for what is important for the world, not alone for them and to us, but to the world. The entire world is today in great peril, and we will never be forgiven for this in times to come if we don't stand up and be counted for peace.
Right. Mr. Khurshid, as a former minister, especially for external affairs, what is your advice to the government when it comes to dealing with the diplomatic and also the economic fallout of what's happening in West Asia, specifically with regard to the closure of the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, the economic fallout will be spread over several months, and I think people who are better equipped to talk about economics should be brought into the picture and must be consulted. That's important. And as far as diplomatic efforts are concerned, we need to put an end to what is happening. The hostilities must come to an end. The continuing attacks on each other in different countries in West Asia must come to an end. And then we must get back to the drawing board to find how we proceed from there. But unfortunately, nobody is standing up and saying enough is enough, now stop, enough is enough, you have to stop. Nobody is saying that, and certainly India hasn't said that. Signing a condolence book is not a clear statement of intent, is not a clear statement to friends and foes alike. I think that's what is missing.
So when you're making that point, and I take the point that you're making, but a very brief question as far as a changing world order is concerned, there have been many concerns raised about a rules-based world order coming under severe threat. In a new dynamic of this nature, should India continue to navigate a situation on the position of moral grounds and moral right or wrong, but on the question of national interest?
Well, I think there's no direct conflict between national interest and morality. This is just an easy go by for people who don't have the common sense or who don't have the mental equipment to deal with complex situations. Morality is and will remain and should remain intrinsic part of India's appreciation of what is happening in the globe and what should happen in the globe. The idea of self-interest will always be there. It's a balance between pragmatism, which is self-interest, and morality, which is principle. It's that balance that we seem to have lost because we are dealing with a lot of people to whom morality is not important. And I think it's very clear when somebody says we come first, we are not told and we do not hear that somebody says we and our friends come first. It's only they and not us. So this whole matter has to get back on track, and the sooner we get back on track, the better it will be. And as far as the rule-based world order is concerned, we've seen how rules are mercilessly crushed. We've seen it now in our neighborhood. We've seen it with what happened with that ship not far away from our shores. And I think this is a great warning to India. We can't take things for granted the way we have.
Right.